In the 4th century, a time of great confusion in the early church, one man stood alone, firm as a rock against the storm. His name was Saint Athanasius of Alexandria, a man of courage, a man of conviction, a man who would rather be exiled from the world than betray the truth of Christ. Born around 296 AD in the great city of Alexandria, Egypt, a place of learning, culture, and deep faith, Athanasius grew up surrounded by both knowledge and conflict. From a young age, his heart burned for God. He studied the Holy Scriptures and sought wisdom from the great monks of the desert, especially Saint Anthony the Great, whose life of holiness deeply inspired him. Years later, Athanasius would write The Life of Saint Anthony, a book that would change countless lives across the Christian world. As a young man, Athanasius became a deacon under Bishop Alexander of Alexandria. He was gifted, sharp in thought, clear in speech, and strong in faith. But the time was dangerous. A powerful new teaching began to spread through the church, a teaching that threatened the very heart of Christianity. It was called Arianism, led by a priest named Arius. Arius taught that Jesus Christ was not truly God, but a created being, higher than man, yet less than the Father.
To many it sounded clever, but Athanasius saw the deadly error. He declared, if Christ is not truly God, then he cannot truly save us, because only God himself could heal and restore humanity to divine life.
In 325 AD, at the Council of Nicaea, bishops from across the world gathered to settle this issue. Athanasius, though still young, became a powerful voice for truth. There the church proclaimed that Christ is of one essence with the Father. The words of the Nicene Creed, which we still say today, were shaped by the conviction and clarity of Athanasius. Not long after, Athanasius was chosen to be Patriarch of Alexandria, leader of one of the greatest Christian sees. But his appointment brought not comfort, only greater trials. Those who supported Arius gained power in the empire. They turned emperors against Athanasius, spreading lies and false accusations. He was exiled, not once, not twice, but 5 times. In total, he spent 17 years away from his beloved city. He fled into the desert, hid among monks, and lived among the faithful poor. Yet he never lost hope. The world could exile him from his home, but not from the truth. During those lonely years, Athanasius wrote. He wrote letters, treatises, and books that still shine with divine wisdom. His most famous work, on the Incarnation, explains the great mystery of our faith, that God himself became man to save us. He wrote, "He became what we are, that he might make us what he is." For Athanasius, salvation was not just forgiveness, it was transformation. Through Christ, humanity was lifted up to share in the divine life of God himself. Athanasius also loved the monastic life. He saw in the desert monks a living example of pure faith. When he wrote The Life of Saint Anthony, he wasn't just writing a biography, he was revealing a path of holiness, a way of life completely devoted to God. That book inspired saints across the world, even St. Augustine, who found his calling through it. After many years of struggle, Athanasius finally returned to Alexandria. The storms had passed. He spent his final years in peace, guiding his flock with fatherly love. On May 2nd, 373 AD, he fell asleep in the Lord, but his legacy was far from over. Because of him, the church stood firm in the truth of the Incarnation. The world called him Athanasius Contra Mundum, Athanasius against the world. And yet, through faith, he conquered the world. The life of Saint Athanasius reminds us that truth is not always popular. It is often lonely. But truth never fades. He teaches us to hold fast to our faith even when the world stands against it. To stand for Christ even when it costs us everything. To love God with all our heart, our mind, and our strength. Athanasius did not just defend doctrine. He defended the very heart of the gospel, that God so loved the world, he became one of us, so that we might share his divine life. May we, like Saint Athanasius, stand firm in truth, live with courage, and never be afraid to say, Christ is God, eternal and unchanging. Amen.